Okay, Nikki, let's do one more. Could you take the cards, give them a bit of a mix for me, a bit of a shuffle? That's perfect. And I'm going to get you to choose a card, and I want to do this in the fairest of manners. Some magicians, when they ask you to take a card, they do this, in the hope that you'll take the card that's easiest to get to. But I'm not going to do that. You can take any card you like. Just reach in, take one out. I'm just kidding, really. You just reach in and take one. And when you're happy with that card, just hold it up to the camera so they can see it as well. I won't look. And then pop it back. That's great. Now I'm going to leave the cards on the floor, which is a strange thing to do, but I'm actually going to leave them right in between us, just like this. Now if you can hold your fingertips out and touch your fingertips to my fingertips, perfect. Now whatever happens in the next few moments, don't break contact, alright? It's exciting stuff, isn't it? Watch the cards. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Keep watching. This is even stranger. One single card. Which card did you choose?
6 times.
It's the 6 of diamonds.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Nicholas Einhorn, and I'd like to thank you for buying Spooked. Welcome also to the world-famous headquarters of the Magic Circle right here in London. I'm actually down in the Magic Circle Library, which houses Europe's largest collection of magic books, and I can't think of a better place to share my biggest secret than right here. You're about to learn a startling piece of close-up magic, and that's not just my opinion, that's the opinion of dozens of magicians who are already using Spooked around the world with lots of success, as I have been for the last 8 years. Now Spooked isn't going to be easy, it's going to take a lot of practice and a lot of rehearsal and a lot of time, but I promise you that that time, practice and rehearsal will be repaid many times over when you see the reactions that this gets from real people in the real world. The Haunted Deck is the creation of a great thinker in magic, Al Baker. In 1933, Al Baker wrote Book 1, and the first trick in the book is Al Baker's pack that cuts itself. That explained the Haunted Deck in its original form, and that was over 70 years ago. Since then, there have been dozens and dozens of different methods invented by lots of different magicians that have been published in books, journals and magazines, as well as being sold in magic shops. So why do I call Spooked the ultimate Haunted Deck? Well, before we discuss the method, let's take a look at some of the benefits to this particular handling. You can use a borrowed deck. You are able to perform without any prior setup. You begin and end the routine absolutely clean. You are instantly ready to repeat Spooked for your next group or audience. At the moment of animation, the deck is isolated on the floor away from everyone. The cards not only cut themselves, but the selection jumps out and away from the deck, and the cards can be given out for immediate examination. One quick tip, please watch this video through once before attempting to try Spooked for the first time. You'll appreciate the handling of Spooked, and it'll also make it much easier for you to learn. Since recording the explanation, I've managed to source and provide this wrist strap, which is better than the one you're about to see. It won't alter the handling in any way, and is easy to place on your wrist and to remove. It's important to become familiar with the gimmicks enclosed. So let's take a look firstly at the wrist strap that you'll find in this package. First of all, it's a piece of Velcro strap with 2 black elastic bands. The invisible thread reel, which we'll discuss in a few moments' time, will be located under here to hold it in position. The wrist strap can be worn on any size wrist, and it goes over your shirt like this, and this is then obviously worn underneath the jacket. I've removed my jacket for clarity, but if you don't want to wear a jacket or you'd like to wear short sleeves, we'll be discussing alternatives at the end of this video. If you're not familiar with an ITR, let me briefly explain what it is. It's basically a dispenser which houses about 30 feet of thread, and it allows you to unspool as much as 6 feet of thread, and then it retracts back into the housing once you are finished with it. The thread is practically invisible, but obviously for demonstration purposes you would never see this on a video. So I've actually made a large version of an ITR which looks something like this. It works on exactly the same principle. It's an elastic band which runs through the length of the tube, and the thread runs around a tube in the middle and is again retracted back into the unit once you've finished using it. The ITR is placed underneath the 2 elastic bands like this, and it's worn on your wrist in this position. You'll notice that the wax pellet, or the blue tack in this case, is located at the front of the reel. You want this to be in line with the flat of your hand. In performance, there's one last tiny piece of preparation, which is to take the pellet and secure it to either your button of your shirt sleeve or, as in my case, the cufflink just about here. It's not absolutely necessary, but it will make it easier in performance. Now all you need is a deck of playing cards. I prefer to have a deck of cards borrowed if I can, but regardless, you give these out to be shuffled. This gives you just a moment to take the blue tack from your button, or in the event that you started with it right back at the ITR, to reach into your sleeve, pull out the wax and secure it between your first and second fingers of your right hand. It's not palmed, it's simply clipped between the first and second fingers, and it's a very easy position to get yourself into whilst the cards are being shuffled. You hold out your left hand to accept the cards back, and you pass those cards into your right hand. Now as this happens, the pellet is stuck to the bottom card of the deck. This anchors the thread to the bottom of the deck and is completely hidden from view. In this position, the thread is running straight out of your sleeve and straight underneath the deck of playing cards. You now have the cards spread, just like normal, to have a card chosen. When the card is taken out, I ask them to look at the card and remember it. I also ask them to show it around to other people. Now the reason I ask them to show it around to other people is because I need to make one small adjustment with the thread, which is to move that thread in between the second and third fingers of the left hand. Now in preparation to have the cards returned, you take off about a half of the deck of cards and you allow your thumb to wrap itself around the thread like this. The thread is now running